What's up there, big spending beasties? Lurks here. Suspiciously wealthy furries. Who are they? What are they? And should we be afraid? Now, if you've been around the fandom for a while, you've probably noticed there's some furries out there who seem to have a whole lot of money. They're buying all kinds of fursuits and art commissions, and they're driving up the prices at the charity auction at the con. That's a good thing. Who are these suspiciously wealthy furries, and where did they get their suspicious wealth from? We shall discuss. Alright, so aside from the boring fact that some people are wealthy and some people aren't, we're going to dive into some specific reasons why some people seem to have a bunch of money in the fandom. Reason number 1. Furries are older than you think. Now, every 6 months or so on the toxic cesspool known as Twitter or X, some little turd pops up and is like, yeah, 30's old. Anybody over 30 should meet the fandom. The reality is that the furry fandom dates all the way back to the late 70s. If you consider that, the average age of the furry fandom is a lot older than people tend to think. Now, not all those people are active anymore, but if you go to a furry convention, you'll notice there are a bunch of people over the age of 30. Now, why does that matter? Well, the answer to that is actually pretty simple. As people get older, there's a higher likelihood that they're established in a career. As you get older, you typically start making more money. That means you have more discretionary income to spend on stuff like the furry fandom. Alright, reason number 2 why some furries have money. I wanna roll with the gangsters, but oh well, it's obvious I'm white and nerdy. We are multicolored and nerdy. Yeah, like any other geek fandom, comic fandom, Star Trek, anime, Star Wars, we tend to be a little bit nerdy. And while nerdiness may not be a trait that's looked fondly upon in grade school and high school, where success is often gauged by athleticism and popularity, it tends to pay off in adulthood. Nerdy people tend to be better educated, a little bit smarter, and we tend to find ourselves in higher paying jobs. There are a lot of people in the furry fandom in high paying jobs. Science, technology, medicine. The list goes on and on. These people have money because they literally did their homework. Now, people who are wealthy aren't automatically giant douchebags. A lot of them are really good people who just have a lot of motivation or had a lot of luck or had a great idea and capitalized on it. One of the most famous wealthy furries in the entire fandom is Xavier Fox. A lot of you are probably familiar with him. He started out as a grocery store clerk and worked his way up to being a gazillionaire or something. But he ended up founding a company that provides, I believe, transport to disabled children, something really cool like that, and made a lot of money doing it. And he's got tons of fursuits and race cars and military vehicles and all kinds of stuff. And from what I know, he's a really nice person and very charitable with his money. Okay, in the next 2 examples, things may not be what they seem. Some people may be appearing to be wealthy, but they're spending money they don't have. They may be racking up credit card debt to buy fursuits or art commissions or things like that. They may be spending money that they really should be spending to fix those bald tires on their car. They may be spending money that should be going toward rent or utilities. Irresponsible spending is the reason that some furries appear to have a lot of money, but they actually may not. I unfortunately know all about this as somebody who might have once put a $7,500 fursuit commission on a credit card. Now, in my own defense, it was a 0% for a year credit card, and I paid it off in time, so I didn't spend any interest, but it still was not the most responsible thing to do. Don't spend money you don't have. Not a good idea. Some people may be throwing money around to try to buy happiness or to try to buy clout in the fandom. And when you find your house being foreclosed on because you spent too much money on furry fandom stuff, you're going to learn a hard lesson about financial responsibility. Don't be this person. Alright, the last example of a suspiciously wealthy furry who's actually not wealthy, suspiciously or otherwise, well, is actually me. It's somebody who has a moderate income but a very low cost of living. It's just a matter of math. Now, I have an average kind of middle-class government job. It doesn't pay a huge amount, but I'm comfortable. Well, at least for now, until Elon Musk figures out a way to illegally fire me. But I have a lot of discretionary income for things like fursuits and all the guitars you see behind me and traveling to cons because my cost of living is very low. It creates the illusion that I'm wealthy when I'm certainly not. So first of all, I never got married. which means I never got divorced, which can be financially devastating. I never had any kids. Kids can cost like $300,000 a piece to raise from birth to age 18. They're horrendously expensive. Having a family and kids might mean you have to live in a higher cost of living area. You'll need a bigger house, which means more utility costs. You'll need multiple vehicles, which you'll have to maintain and insure. You have to buy clothes and toys and food and orthodontic work and all the stuff that goes along with having kids. I also live in a place with a really low cost of living. Partially because I don't have kids and family to worry about, I was able to move wherever I wanted to. My job offered me a transfer to kind of a podunk town in New Mexico where not a lot of people want to live, but it's so cheap to live here that it gives me a lot more money to play with. Even after doing the responsible things like making sure all my bills are taken care of and contributing to my retirement fund, I have quite a bit left over, enough to attend 4 or 5 furry conventions a year and occasionally buy a new guitar or a fursuit or fursuit parts. So some of those suspiciously wealthy furries are not wealthy at all. You just think they are. Alright, well, is there anything wrong with wealthy furries? Is there anything good about wealthy furries? Let's talk about that real quick. Alright, really the only negative thing I can think of about suspiciously wealthy furries is overconsumption. They tend to buy a lot, which may deprive other people from being able to commission that artist, or that fursuit maker, or buy that thing they want at the charity auction at the con. When somebody has a lot of money, they can just keep throwing it, especially in an auction situation, until they get what they want. And that can kind of suck for other people. I make sure not to do that. I definitely have my list of artists I want to commission, but I like to make sure other people have opportunities in between. I might commission an artist for a major art piece once or twice a year, and that gives other people a lot of opportunities to commission those artists as well. So what's good about suspiciously wealthy furries? Okay, there's nothing suspicious about being a wealthy furry. Let's throw that out. Well, they tend to be very charitable. Let's use Anthro Weekend, Utah as an example. It's in the Salt Lake City area, which is a pretty high income area. People have a lot of money there. The jobs there pay really well. The charity auction at Anthro Weekend, Utah, oh wow. People are so generous. The prices go so high. They actually have, I believe, the highest charitable contribution per attendee of any furry con in the world. At least that was true as of 2023. So those people who do have some extra money can do a lot of good things in the fandom. So I would love to hear your opinions on all this. Are you frustrated by people who have a lot of money who are maybe preventing you from being able to get some stuff you want? Do you think they're great? Do you think something in between? Let me know down in the comments. Thank you so much as always to our super amazing patrons who help fund this channel. None of that money goes toward making me suspiciously wealthy. It goes right back into the channel and into rewards for our members. Thank you so much. Wealthy, penniless, or somewhere in between, thank you so much for stopping by and watching. We'll be back next week with more Fuzzalicious fun, so stay tuned. Until then, adieu.